Hello and welcome to Trolls of the Two Tonne Bridges, or TOTTB. My name is John and I play Percival Silverlight. Thank you once again for joining us at the table, be it virtual or otherwise. This week the team is still dealing with the fallout of the vision from the Temple of Severus. Can they make any sense of it? Possibly not. Remember to follow us on all of the social medias on TOTTB Podcast. That's TOTTB Podcast. We hope you enjoy this week's adventure. There's plenty of stupid jokes about TV series you've probably never even heard of. Go check out Bullseye. It's super smashing great. Adventure. The Log of Percival Silverlight. After witnessing the dreadful shared vision of a city we can only presume holds the death curse, a city filled with snakes and protected by a red-eyed evil presence, we have left a comatose Grandfather Zatembe in the hands of his temple and holed up in a local tavern, the Painted Rose. Here we hope to make some sense of what we have just seen. After checking a book on local legends that Zibby happened to purchase earlier, we have discovered 3 possible connections. A city built by minotaurs and now overrun by snake men. The once great capital city of Chult, Omu, and its fall. And a cautionary tale of a ruin found up the river Taff, and a serpent or naga that guards it. There is still much to discuss, however. Adventure!
Right, so what is happening right now? What are you guys doing?
Don't forget, people, we are meeting Akene tomorrow for lunch.
Are we? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we can
Yes.
chat with her a little bit about weapons and canoes and basically anything that's away from Jobu. I thought Jobu was a little bit stuck up and, I don't know, he's okay, but I didn't find it easy to talk in front of him to people. I thought he thinks he's a big shot.
Yes. Yeah, I kind of got that impression as well. To be honest with you, though, I think that the biggest problem that we've been coming up against with these merchant princes is that they don't seem to believe that the death curse is in Chult.
Yes.
Now, we've had proof of this. We have seen it.
Well, I thought that Akene, when we started talking about things, she seemed a little bit more like hopeful that she might be willing to help. So we could tell her tomorrow about the death curse anyway, that we have got proof now, to see if we can get her on side.
Do you think that it's worth actually approaching each of the merchant princes and perhaps asking them to help us set up some kind of expedition into the jungle?
It's possible, but the problem I see is, whilst we know we've seen it, Grandfather Zatembe is unconscious at the moment, and they don't really know who we are. If we say, oh, we saw it in a vision with Grandfather Zatembe, what if they say, oh, prove it? How do we prove it?
Well, there was a bunch of other acolytes there who were more than happy to speak up, I'm sure.
This is true. They might, yes, okay, if they might listen to one of them. It depends who they believe, really. I mean, it's not the same as coming from Grandfather Zatembe.
Well, you know, I'm perfectly trustworthy.
No, by all means, give me reasons to prolong your suffering, please.
Don't say anything in front of the DM.
Yeah, I agree though, Percival. I think we should speak to them all. Wakanga, obviously, he's on side anyway. At the very least, he's willing to do whatever for the death curse, and if we tell him it's here, I'm sure he'll believe us.
I think Jessamine certainly going to be of interest in that respect. I mean, I don't entirely know what she might be able to do, but perhaps she could forward us some funds. Even if we perhaps do some jobs for these people, we could make some serious dollar.
But can she not just, like,
gold
somebody that's got a big fucking boat, can she not just threaten them with, like, you know who I am, I can kill you, I can have you killed, give them your
Jessamine,
boat. Give them your goddamn boat. Or I kill you. She doesn't have to kill them, she just needs to threaten them, because they know she is. Could she not do something like that for us? Would that not be a better thank you? Just so they can have the boat back afterwards. I don't need to keep... How am I going to take a boat back home? We can't.
Well, you could sail it home.
It did cross my
mind. How do I sail a boat?
It's one of the easier things to take across the sea.
Well, yes, but then what do you do with it?
A grand piano.
What, rather than a boat?
A grand piano, maybe not.
Yeah, but unless you live coastal, what do you do with it afterwards? It's like on one of those shows.
What, here's what you would have won?
Yes, where you see people with a boat parked in a stupid place. Because they can't
in a landlocked area.
Yes.
Because they've won it on a game show.
Yeah.
I saw it once in a dream. These people came from Bolton and they won the speedboats.
Parked in their driveway.
What they were thinking. I think they were going to take it to the local Lido. Just
right,
cruise
Jeff,
around
so
the
you got
deep end 3 times.
They're out there every Sunday polishing it,
nice
just
boat,
to like, it's my boat, yeah.
It's like the 3 people in Bolton who have won playing darts. They all take their speedboats down to the local duck pond and just cruise round in a circle.
But they don't live together.
It's not big enough.
Yeah, they don't live together, so they've actually got a timeshare on it. So, like, once every 3 months, they have to drive it to someone else's house and leave it there.
All right, Jeff, you've got a lovely boat there. Oh, thanks.
Yes.
Won it on.
We've probably just completely lost Greg at this point, by the way.
Yep, I'm struggling to keep up, to be honest. Just like, which way did this conversation
If
go?
you've ever watched Bullseye, they always used to win a speedboat.
I think it's primarily 80s.
80s shit game shows,
yeah. You win something like a speedboat or something like that.
It's just like, what am I meant to do with that?
It's nice to see you.
Nice.
And don't forget you've won your teas made.
Oh, yeah. And your, what's it called? Bully. Your prize bully.
Yeah. Your pint glass for with 3 darts.
Yeah.
I can just pull us back to the game again.
Probably worth it.
But anyway, yeah. So
we're going to go and do that. We're going to go and do that tomorrow. We can go and talk with. For some reason, I've got her name down as Enki.
Yeah, I think that's what Greg called her first, but it's Akene.
It's what I called her first before I realised that her name was wrong. And not that her name was wrong. I was pronouncing it wrong.
Oh my god, you bastards! You killed Akene.
If
that happens.
It has to, yeah.
You guys get her killed now. You guys.
Amazing. Right, so we'll meet her tomorrow. Who else? We still need to speak to Jobel about the guides and be introduced to some of the guys so we can decide, who we'd like to work with and see what we can, do with them. We still need to meet Xantho at some point. Ifan. Ifan is into flying snakes. Maybe he will have some idea on the snakiness of all of this.
Well, I was going to say the same about Jessamine, actually.
Yeah.
She's also
snake people.
A dab hand at snaking.
Yes.
I'm not entirely sure what that would be, but...
What? It's a dab hand of what? Snaking.
It sounds like a weird sexual thing, doesn't it, in some way?
It does. It's a bit like dogging, but no, we're not going...
No, just bring that back to decency
again. For our international fans of the podcast, I strongly recommend that you do not Google that term.
Do not Google certain terms. Probably not snaking or dogging.
Well, to be honest, they probably shouldn't Google most things that we talk about, to be honest with you.
No.
Yeah, you can Google Bullseye TV show, but you will lose that part of your
And
life.
Blockbusters.
Yeah.
Blockbusters, but not the video rental store.
But to be safe, don't Google anything ending in ing. Nothing ending in ing is appropriate for Googling.
Cooking?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Even Googling. You can't Google Googling.
You
break
can't
the
Google
internet.
Googling.
Yeah.
No, none of that.
So Jessamine and Ithan
Yes.
Talroa, both of them are interested in snakes. Perhaps they might know about A, snake people, and B, this snake god thing, Naga.
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
It's possible. We've also got Coyote to see as well. So Coyote is the food edibles, fruit, wine, ale, tej,
Medicine.
insect repellent stuff. Who apparently has got a deadly mind and a fire god. And you don't cross her because she does crazy shit and burns you.
Don't do that then.
Yeah, and then you got Xanthe, royal blood, opposite of that person, elderly, owns the dye works, temple of gold, basically fancy.
Yeah.
And
That's a good summary.
fancy.
Gem cloth armour.
Yeah, so I'm going to write so
Fancies
fancy.
themselves as royal.
Yep.
Well,
And
they
then
are royal, in fact, aren't they? They come from
Yeah.
the only royal blood, I think it was, wasn't it?
Ifan smells, is jealous, and trains beasts.
That smells.
Social climber.
Perhaps we could appeal to Ifan's sense of...
Sportsmanship and fair play.
I reckon. Given they're a social climber, they probably want to appear like they know what they're doing.
For the social climbing, I mean, if they are a little bit whiffy, without insulting them, so, I mean, be very careful there, Percival. Do you have any fancy perfumes? I know you do, I can smell it from here, but,
I don't insult anybody.
Not intentionally.
yes. It's the whole reading the room problem again. But, do you have any fancy
Very good at it.
perfumes that, like posh ones, that you might be able to donate to him?
Well, and Percival reaches into some pouches that he's got, and he pulls out this fancy little bottle with a little squeezy like bulb on the end of it. That you can squirt at.
Because
yourself.
of course he has one of them.
Probably got tassels on it as well, yeah.
There's this one here. This is brewed with the tears of virgin maidens. And this one over here.
What?
I see
and
you've
he
got
pulls
it.
out another.
I see the label. It's got foie.
Four for him. And he pulls out another little vial, and he pulls out basically like 3 or 4. He's like, well, you can give him a choice.
In response to seeing this, Rana reaches into a small pouch that he's got, with various sort of medicine pouches and things. And he pulls out a small, sort of vaguely purple mushroom. And he puts it on the table and he says, "Eat this. You will not care what anyone smells like." And then just carries on looking around the room, not paying much attention.
Rana, is that your favourite mushroom? You talked to me before and said this your favourite colour food in the jungle. Is that the mushroom that's your favourite?
Rana nods and then eyes everyone suspiciously as though changing his mind, and quickly reaches and picks up the mushroom and
I've said too much.
tucks it back and says, "It's Rana's mushroom. Find your own."
Yes, it's your mushroom. But what does it do? Does it do similar to what that tea did earlier?
Rana shrugs and says, "Maybe we will find out. Maybe we won't." But then won't be drawn any more on the subject.
Get you off your tits. Fair enough. I mean, Rana's got the right idea. But here we go. Look, I've got 5, 6. I've probably got some more in my backpack. Yeah, that's the type of stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So yeah, it's like just needlessly fancy bullshit bottles with where the glass base is probably like 2/3 of the actual bottle, and the
I know
just
sort
like
of thing you mean.
that just I never get why that's anyway. So why did we get these perfume bottles out? You were going to give them to your fan?
perhaps a gift.
But you need to do it without offending him, because if you just give him something that is like it's like saying, "You smell, use this." So we need to
No, look,
find a way of.
Everybody would be appreciative of something like this, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they, Rana? You see, Rana agrees, and he doesn't even care. So it's just the same as buying somebody, I don't know, some kind of slimming underwear or something like that. It would be very appreciated.
Rana, who has never worn and doesn't really understand why underwear would be necessary, just looks confused. He doesn't understand that.
Percival takes this as a positive.
In which case, Rana nods along and just sort of
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's 100%. Yeah, great. So Rana leans forward and says, "So, what is the plan for tomorrow? We have this lunch, yes, but then what? What will we be doing afterwards?"
What lunch are you having? Is that the one with Akene?
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
Was it lunch? I thought you were just meeting her at the Dino Dens.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
it was, wasn't it? Sorry, I forgot. I thought we were.
You're obsessed
Yeah.
with lunch.
Yeah, lunch was Jobel today. I was just like, hang on a minute,
Yeah,
lunch.
no, I think I did suggest lunch, and she said, "Actually, if you meet me there,
Well, you never know. We might get some lunch.
I mean, yeah.
Nose bags.
Well, just in case, Siliqui, just in case we don't get lunch tomorrow, can you make some more of those sandwich things?
I can." Yes.
Thank.
If I get some more chicken, perhaps we could try the mayonnaise with chicken. I'm thinking that might taste quite nice.
It's,
A little bit of salt, maybe some lettuce or something. That'd be lovely, I think.
As long as Polly doesn't see, because I think that might be a bit.
No, Polly's still at the Giggling Squid. It's fine.
Okay. I'll see what I can do and bring some with us.
Whilst you're making sandwiches tomorrow, I just want to go out and I've got a couple of things I want to buy tomorrow.
I wouldn't mind going speaking to the tattoo person actually tomorrow as well. And I probably would like to get a couple of bits myself actually. So we could all go and do a bit of shopping tomorrow if you like as well.
That's not a problem. You can come with me, but I wouldn't trust either of these two to make sandwiches. I'd probably come back with too few fingers.
I think Rana may not have any food left. He was in charge of making all the sandwiches.
I have you know, I'm a master of blades, Zibby.
I feel like I'm going to have to make a literal rules for this bag of sandwich or something like that.
There is nothing wrong with these sandwiches. I like. There's nothing wrong with feeding your comrades.
There is.
I say I fully support the idea of a
bag of sandwich holding.
Yeah, or some sort of extremely limited and largely pointless magic item, like a ring of invisibility. That is a ring that is itself invisible when worn, for example. So, yeah,
It's a ring of invisibility. It just makes you think you're invisible.
It's a bit like Drax. Yeah.
It gives you high persuasion to persuade other people that they can't see you.
Actually, no, even better than that. It makes you invisible, but only when people aren't looking.
So, it basically works like eyelids, as in if you close your eyes, no one, because you can't see anyone, so they can't see you.
You know, I approve of anything, like a wand of ealing, which summons D3 eels, which have no stats and just immediately suffocate. For example, that's all it does. The wand of ealing, or teleports you to Ealing briefly. And maybe
briefly,
teleport back in.
just for 1d6 rounds, which is just long enough to be mugged.
Okay.
I mean, I think I renamed a couple of spells once, which I was just looking for, and it was. Dear God, where was it?
Odd name for a spell.
it's a spell of finding.
It was really
Oh,
strange.
dear God.
It is a spell of finding bugger. Where is it? Yeah.
Have you tried a locator spell?
Where have you gone, you bastard?
Oh, amazing.
Oh, I can't find it. I'll continue looking for it. And
Have any of you seen the show Once Upon a Time?
Yeah.
Yeah, the number of times they've used a locator spell.
For everything.
Damn show. It's like every problem, just like, did you try a locator spell?
Oh, okay. So, if only, everything.
So yes, you have, I believe you were discussing what you're going to do tomorrow. You've got a meeting with Akene, and it's a question of what else do you guys want to do if you want to actually make plans before turning in for the night.
Well, what, this evening? He says to the to God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Percival,
Yes.
I've not read any of your books yet. Do you have any on your person? I don't.
Read. I don't. And Percival's just kind of patting his chest and his, and he's almost like he's patting his pockets. And he's like, "No, I'm sorry, I don't have any on me at the moment. But I do happen to know that the young Zibby here
I know a man who does.
has one or two on him."
There's Zibby, and at this point, Siliqui leans on the table. She puts her elbow down, and so she's got like a fist under her chin. And says, "Zibby, what book do you recommend? Any? I mean, would I find them like interesting reading materials?" And then as she's saying it, she looks and realises she's got some lettuce on her elbow that she's leaned on. She starts pulling that off, and it's accidentally half leaned in the remains of her salad. And is there anything good? Oh, shush. That's worth reading. I tell you what, Zippy, have you read any of those books now? Have you finished them?
I haven't actually read any of them just yet. I've skimmed through them just to see the inside cover, that sort of thing.
Do you reckon we could do a test round? Do you want to quiz him to see if he remembers, to see if it's rubbish? Like to ask him the date of something to see if he gets it wrong.
I was just going to offer you this one, the Boonies. It seems quite good.
Oh yeah, that was my I don't know how to say it. My origin story, if you will.
Aye, more or less.
As you're discussing this, from the booth over, you hear a sudden voice speak up. The Boonies? I absolutely love that book. And a little head pops up with this flamboyant hat on. Sort of like, imagine, any of you played King's Quest?
I've seen it. Yeah. Wasn't that the one? Yeah, we have, yeah.
Yep.
Is it
yeah, with a sort of like, it's kind of like a Robin Hood style hat, sort of pointed with a feather sort of coming out of it. And underneath this hat is a bright, eager-looking face with a beard sort of like mine, a little bit shorter than mine, but sort of like rounding out the face.
Yeah.
And as the head sort of pops up, he looks over to sort of continue on what he's saying. He takes one look at you, Percival, and then just goes, Oh my word, is it really? And he sort of hops down and comes round. And you see this man comes out. This man comes out, and Zippy, you recognise this man as the man that you walked past both on the way into the bookshop where you actually bought these books, and you actually recognise him from the Giggling Squid. You spotted him in one corner at one point.
He gets everywhere.
He does. He comes round and he's doing that sort of thing where he's just kind of going, is it really, are you, by any chance, are you Percival Silverlight? The Silverlight?
Ah, fan! Yes!
Oh, of course I am, of course I am.
Pleased to meet you.
Very pleased to meet you. I am a fellow writer in arms. I am Vologanth, sod, what's his name? I nearly got it, I nearly had it.
Vologanth.
Volo.
Hold on. Let me find him.
While he's saying this,
Where is he? I like the idea that he's forgotten his own name.
So excited.
Siliqui looks at Zibby and has her face on her fist, but her elbow slightly slips down the table slightly more, but she looks at Zibby still like, oh God. And she thinks she's being really quiet, and she thinks that the others haven't noticed, even though she's probably being a bit louder than she realises, and it's like, here we go.
Oh, here we go. Volothamp Gadarm.
Wow. So it's Volothamp.
Volothamp. Or Volo, as my friends call me, and I would urge you to call me Volo, as Volothamp is something of a mouthful.
That's what she said. Anyway, Volo.
Zibby, Percival, and Siliqui, can I get you guys to roll me a intelligence check, please?
Oh, interesting.
Intelligence, my best stat. Actually, no, it's my second best stat, actually.
Yeah, Siliqui's smart tonight.
5.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, Siliqui, you make yours with disadvantage, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
I want to now, just to see.
Is it a saving throw, or is it just adding the?
Oh yeah. So
No, it's just so this is memories basically. It's just
straight
it's
out.
just general intelligence. Yeah.
intelligence, yeah. So
Yep, intelligence.
Plus 1. 3.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
5. Sorry.
Sorry. Hang on. So there was an 8 from Percival. Percival. What was that from you?
It's an amazing name.
That's the type of ice lollipop that Percival sells.
Yeah.
Oh, little Percival. Are you a bit cold, Percival? It's a little Percival.
It's so cold in here.
Sorry.
I feel like a persicle.
No, so Siliqui, you had a 3, was it?
Yeah, all together.
And Zibby, what did you get?
5.
An 8.
5. Oh god, none of you got it. Okay, right. Yeah, so Percival, you again, the name Volo stirs something in your memory. You think you've heard of a writer called Volo, but you can't quite place what he's famous for.
I'm sorry, Vola. I do apologise. Do I know you?
Oh no, we have not met in person, but perhaps you have heard of my book, Volo's Guide to Monsters.
Yep.
Ah.
Can we roll again to see if we know that book?
Yes. Actually, no, to be honest, I'm just going to say from that, it clicks.
It's pretty famous. Thing.
Yeah. Volo is something of a character in Faerun, and is a... Hang on, let me just read the blurb for him. A legendary world traveller, famous, yes, for his Guide to Monsters, which is intended to be a guide for adventurers and travellers the world over, in learning more about the dangers and perils that can befall them. Volo himself is something of a mage, not a very good mage exactly, but he can use magic, and is apparently, yeah, he's travelled the world, seeking out adventures and solving puzzles, much the same way Percival pretends to. I say pretends to, it portends to, that's what I was trying to say.
It's true.
And Volo is essentially, he's stylizing himself as something like the Lonely Planet kind of guide to areas of the world.
Oh, okay. Yep,
Lonely Planet, according to Volo.
Yeah, basically. And he is in his flamboyant glory here, and is apparently a fan of Percival Silverlight.
Ron leans forward, sort of glances around, and says, who is this man that you all seem to know?
Rana, may I introduce you to Volothamp? It was Goddo, wasn't it?
Gadam.
Gadam. Sorry, I wrote it down wrong.
Just Volo. Volo will do. Most people call me Volo.
He's the world-famous author, perhaps not quite so famous as myself, I think you'll find, of Volo's Guide to Monsters. In very interesting book that describes and goes into detail about numerous monsters that Volo has managed to find, capture, and study. Man after my own heart. Isn't that right, Volo? Slaps him on the back.
Volo? Sorry, I am... sorry, is it okay if I call you Volo as well?
That's a lot of Volos.
Of course you may.
I'm Siliqui. Hello.
My dear lady, I am at your service.
Very thank you, a very polite man. Unlike some. Anyway,
Are you questioning the honour of the great Percival Silverlight?
you don't know him the way I
Surely
know
that
him.
cannot be in.
Trust me, if you travel with him, I give you a week, and you will have a totally different opinion.
What I would give to travel with him. I say that, of course. I would give much to relive some of the adventures of Percival Silverlight. If I were half as brave as this man, then I would probably sell a lot more of my books.
Oh, Volo.
I'm not the person who likes to shatter people's dreams of things, so I won't go into detail about Percival. So I don't want to ruin your dreams of him.
I've been a complete
Percival,
gentleman, Siliqui.
I was trying to ask this nice man something important. If that's so... Sorry, Volo, is it okay if let's not... You can go back to talking to Percival in a moment, if that's okay. But I wanted to ask you something about the monsters in your book, and that you specialise.
Of course, my lady. What would you like to know? Or would you indeed like to purchase one of my books? And from nowhere, he seems to produce a guide to monsters.
well, that could be useful. I mean, how much are you selling them for?
Oh, for a mere paltry sum of 50 gold pieces, my lady.
And maybe I get one another time.
Rana leans forward and says, "Does this book have pictures?"
Oh,
Indeed, written, drawn, in fact, in my own hand.
Zibby would also like a copy.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, I'm an artist myself, so that would be quite interesting for me to see. But I do want to ask you, it might sound like a strange question, and I can't go into too much detail of why. I'm on an adventure with Percival Silverlight right now, so it's all a bit hush-hush and quiet, you see. So I can't go into too many details, as you may imagine. So, the monsters you've seen before, have you seen any with glowing red eyes?
With glowing red eyes,
Yes.
my dear. Why, there are many creatures with glowing red eyes. And unfortunately, glowing red eyes is not one of the things that they have in the index of Volo's Guide to Monsters.
Perhaps he should change that.
Perhaps he should change that, yes. You have a very good point, my dear sir. And he looks to you expectantly.
this is Zibby.
Zibby.
Zibby is a cleric of Thor. He's definitely a man that you need by your side in a threatening battle.
Wondrous, most wondrous, excellent. I applaud your great strength of character, Mr. Zibby. Or my apologies. Is it cleric? Cleric Zibby?
Reverend.
Reverend is fine, Volo. Thank you very much.
Reverend, of course.
Percival, how come you bigged up Zibby and told all nice things about him? And when I said, Mr. Volo, you said nothing about me. The amount I've done for you,
Well, you were dissing me, bitch.
honestly, the amount I've done for this bloody man. And I'm a monk and I fight very well. I fought alongside him much.
This is Siliqui.
Right. That's
This
it,
is Siliqui.
Percival.
She
Put
has-
your arm out.
she-
We're having an arm wrestle right now, right here, right now. Go. Go on.
Zibby turns to Volothamp and says, "It's always like this."
Okay, she gets like this all the time.
Percival, I'm not seeing any bicep. Come on.
You know that this isn't my forte.
As this is happening, one of the waiters comes over towards you and says, "I'm very sorry. Is everything okay over here?"
Oh, we're absolutely fine. We're splendid. Thank you very much.
Perfectly fine.
Quite sure. There was quite a lot of.
Oh, could we have some more whiskey, please?
Sorry, there was some excitement. Percival's a little bit famous, and this man recognized him, and there was a little bit of excitement. But no, it's all good.
Me famous? No, not in front of the great Volo.
Volo blushes in that sort of almost like stage way. He's not actually blushing, but he looks sort of like, oh, too kind. Does a little head bow kind of thing.
Yeah.
The waiter, after sort of saying, just keep the excitement perhaps to a level plane.
To a dull roar.
To a dull roar, yes.
All right, sorry. Okay, right, Percival. We're going to take a rain check, but we're going to have that arm wrestle later.
Fair enough.
Rana sort of sidles up to Volo and says, "You know of monsters, yes? This is what your..." He sort of frowns slightly when he says the word book is about, yes?
Indeed it is, my good Rana. It's what I specialise in. I seek out and learn what I can of the dangerous monsters that inhabit our world. And indeed, many of the worlds beyond our world.
Rana nods and says, "Have you ever seen an Aldani?"
Oh, that's a good question.
Aldani. Let me check Volo's Guide.
If you're able to check, if you're able to see any that have got red eyes as well, so red eyes or Aladani, for a top secret mission, obviously, a top secret adventure with Percival Silverlight, if you can give us any information, we'd be very grateful.
Okay, so I think I can answer that Aldani aren't in his bestiary. So we're already a B and we haven't seen them anyway. There's no mention of the Aldani in there. So no, he has a think, and after a while he has to say, "I'm afraid it is not one in particular I have met. Is that a local creature? A local bit of colour?"
Rana sort of waves his hand and says, "It's an old story. People that look like," and he says the word for kind of freshwater crayfish, Charlton.
Yep.
I don't think you know what a lobster is.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
So this is the word for like crayfish in Cholton.
So the Queen takes another napkin and actually starts trying to draw a rough sketch on a bit of a napkin as well while he's saying that.
Okay, give me a performance check at disadvantage.
You're drawing on a napkin. You know how annoying that is.
On the other hand, the other question that you gave, Siliqui, in terms of...
I got a natural 20 for the bloody other one as well.
Yep.
9.
Okay, so yeah, you draw something that looks roughly bipedal. Beyond that, the details are a bit shaky.
Looks like Zoidberg.
I'm sure it's just the lighting and, the paper that's... Yeah. I'm an artist, you know.
There are a few things that would have glowing red eyes, but most of the things he mentions are like astral plane creatures, so things that don't necessarily conform to the sort of image you've got. Let's see. I'm just trying to think, because I've been flicking through and I haven't yet found anything that really fits that he could potentially say, oh, it could be this.
If it's none of the things that you've written about or seen before, do you have any suggestions of other maybe books or places we can go to have a look where we might find out that kind of information?
There are a few places. Again, there are few people that have seen as much of the world as, say, myself and Mr. Percival here have seen.
That's true.
It depends on exactly the context, I'm afraid. Again, as I say, there are many things that could potentially fit it, but without more information, I'm afraid I've got almost too much information, too many answers for you. I'm saying as I'm just flicking through this book, trying to find anything that even vaguely resembles it. There's not much, to be honest.
Perhaps then, have you, my good Volo, have you heard of snake people?
Snake people? You mean Yunti?
Ooh.
I'm guessing so, if that sounds like a possibility.
How do you mean by snake people? Because that's what it sounds like to me. Because they would fit the description of snake people.
What do you know about Yanti? Where do they come from, or what are they?
You know, a lot of the information you would like, you might find in my book. But there is...
Well, I'm sure Percival would love a copy.
I can tell you that they were once an ancient race that fell to that, I say human, sentient weakness of luxury and debauchery, and descended into pretty much cannibalistic violence against one another. And the thing they centered upon was snakes. And through certain rituals, which again you can find out more about in my book, they took on some of the features of snakes. For more, see my guide on monsters.
CB's already flicking through his copy.
Has he got a copy?
Yeah,
Is Percival going to buy
I
a
was
copy?
gonna say literally, he has a book, and apparently when you look around the corner, he does seem to have a small stack of books with him. So yeah, if you did want to buy a copy each, or just one for the group, you can buy one from him.
Yep, I've given him 50 gold pieces, and I'm flicking through looking at all the pictures.
Okay.
So the Queen's going to have a quick flick through one. She's not buying one, but she's going to have a quick look at the pictures.
It's going to be, get out of my shop. It's not a library.
But is his artwork...
Yes.
Who, as he said, he drew it by his own hand. Is his artwork up to Siliqui's standard, being that she studied painting and stuff at the monastery, and she's very good with her painting and art?
Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to want a perception check from you, Siliqui, on that one.
Ooh, 17, and perception is
that's
plus
pretty-
5, so 22.
It's going to be high.
Okay, right, yep. So you can see that his drawings are actually fairly decent. How accurate they are is another matter entirely, but certainly they seem to be highly detailed in most cases.
But are they good? Like, if Siliqui did the same picture of something, would hers be better?
Again, it's
all about
that's
that.
a rather
important.
subjective. It's a subjective question, really, because it's like he's clearly going for like a sort of anatomical side of things. So he's not necessarily made them look pretty exactly, especially as in most cases the monsters just aren't pretty, no matter which angle you draw them from.
Are they black and white or coloured as well?
They are generally black and white, but a few of them have been coloured in where there is actually,
red eyes.
But yeah, where there is actually, a distinctive feature where there's some creatures that are known for having a particular hue of blue skin. He seems to have gone for actually drawing them with that colour so that it makes them easier to recognise. Okay. But in some cases, there's some sort of smaller sketches where he's clearly just sort of done it in pen, probably for ease and for, bringing down the cost of the book as well is probably something that is influencing it.
So Siliqui says to him, now, I'm an artist as well. I can show you some of my work if you like, but your drawings are very good. But if you ever need anybody else to do some of the artwork, I am very good with colour, and especially things like fur or hair. I'm quite good at getting the depth and everything in there. So if you did want to have a different type of art, or somebody to work on it for you, or to work alongside you...
I must say, Volu, I can vouch for her. She's very good.
Well, thank you, Percival.
It's only because she beat you in an arm wrestle.
I haven't done it yet.
He knows it's going to. Arm wrestle?
He just knows.
No, I've seen you wrestle before. She won quite handily.
Look, I'm more about zipping and zapping.
Volo he seems interested in the idea. He does say that obviously he does a lot of his roaming and therefore a lot of his pictures himself helps him, with his own process because he draws from his own experiences.
Yeah.
A lot of what he has got down is stuff that he has seen himself.
Mm-hmm.
This is his current book that he has out. He doesn't necessarily have a second one in the works, but he takes a note of your name, and you could in the future have discussions about this.
Put you on the mailing list.
Yeah. Basically, just sort of like, oh yeah, sure, I'll keep in touch. Let me just get your email address down. And it was just like, yeah, okay, I'll just put that in my wallet, put that in the back pocket, never take it out again.
Here's my card.
Yes. He'd be interested, but right now he doesn't necessarily have a business opportunity like that.
So, my good Volo, what actually brings you to Port Nyanzara?
Why, the very book you have just bought from me. My sales in the mainland are doing very well, but I've taken a fancy to expanding and bring my book to help the locals here perhaps maybe better deal with some of the creatures that they face, as I hear many of the creatures found in the jungle are ones that I've dealt with myself in the past, and, perhaps share some of my knowledge.
Book signing tour, eh?
Yes, exactly. Well, trying to branch out, and it's always best if you make a personal appearance, as I assume perhaps you yourself are doing, Silverlight.
I have done many a personal appearance, I'm sure you agree.
Every time
Volo.
Percival enters a room or leaves a room, even if he goes into the bathroom, he acts like it's a personal appearance.
I'm making a personal appearance.
I am indeed. I'm meeting with several of the merchant princes to try and get them to buy my book and to sell it, if not for their own businesses, but at least to buy it for their own personal pleasure of reading.
I see. Well, we are actually also in the process of talking to various merchant princes currently ourselves.
Oh, indeed, are you? Fabulous. Perhaps, if it would be so bold of me, could I help facilitate an introduction? I am on grand speaking terms with, of course, all 7 merchant princes of the city.
That would be absolutely spectacular. Thank
It
you,
would.
Velo.
It would be absolutely. I'm assuming Ifan is one of your closest.
Oh, me and Ifan go back just centuries, almost millennia, of course. This coming from a guy who clearly looks like he's human, so has clearly not lived that long. I'm actually not sure. Is Volothamp human? I think he's human. Hold on.
I think he is.
What's that massive list that you sent, Nick, on Facebook?
Isn't that a bunch of dwarf names?
Oh,
Yeah.
Genuinely had that as massive fist and got very confused.
What was that massive fist you sent? Ooh.
I have made Volothamp's named NPC journal entry available for you guys now, by the way. So if you want to see what he looks like, you can have a look there.
Yes, male human, speaks common, dwarvish and elvish.
Yep, there we
Chaotic
go.
good. Challenge rating a quarter.
Siliqui folds up a napkin and, like a flip book, but basically kind of splits it in half. She sat there with some kind of ink or charcoal, and she's in front of Rana. She's basically just she's drawn like a Rana head, and is from some of the images that she's seen in the book, she's just doing stupid bits like, octopus legs with Rana head on top, and then you turn that bit of Rana's head and then it becomes a different head, and yeah, she's basically just pissing around with Rana with stupid little pictures.
So like those children's books where you turn the pages and it becomes like a horrifying like ant shark hybrid. Noted. Rala just looks disappointed that he can't turn into two animals at once, because as much as he likes,
That's not how Wild Shape worked.
yeah, I mean, as much as he likes, being a tiger, he also likes, the whole having 8 legs and being able to climb walls. So he thinks like a tiger with spider legs would be great.
That sounds horrifying.
Well, I mean, Rana just appreciates the majesty of each individual form.
8 stripy orange and black legs.
I have now just the desire to create this monstrosity you've just described there, Toby. That's just going to turn up in your nightmares at some point. The jungle. So with regards to the Guide to Monsters, basically when you guys want to know about... so I think through D&D Beyond you can see information about different creatures already.
Yes.
So to begin with, I kind of assume it will take some time to read through the book.
Yeah.
So if you hear about a creature that is in Volo's guide, you can essentially say that, yes, you can draw on some of the information from that PDF through D&D Beyond.
Okay.
But the thing that's going to be tricky to police and to sort of ask you not to rely on too heavily is things like the
stat
stats.
blocks.
Oh, I'm not looking
Yeah,
at
because the stats wouldn't actually be in the book. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, all right, you might not be able to help it, because, again, in theory, what I should be doing is basically I have Volo's guide, and when you want to know about something that's in there, I should then tell you what's in there. But for ease, as we've got D&D Beyond and you've got it, I'm just going to say that, yeah, you can make the assumption that your characters might know a few bits and pieces about each of these creatures to begin with.
Sure.
It would have to be, you'd have to have heard about them first and then decided to sit down with the book. But after a while, if you guys say, like, you devote so many short rests or so much time to reading the book, you can then just sort of say, yeah, on the fly, if one of these creatures appears in Volo's book, then you might know such and such about them.
Okay.
I might have you roll investigation depending on how obscure some of the creatures are, but it certainly will give you an advantage on identifying creatures if they do happen to be in Volo's guide. A little bit loose with it, but yeah, just in general, that is now available to you guys as a source of information.
Cool.
I won't penalise you heavily for saying, I know this because we've got the book now. We'll judge it base by base, depending on when creatures come up or when you meet things, but yeah, that's just how mechanistically I'm going to run with that.
No, that's cool. Yep. Good.
Okay. He also hastily asks whether or not you could potentially sign one of his books, Percival.
Of course.
Is Volo's book signed?
Oh yeah, every one of his books is signed, but he's after 2 or 3 books signed by I nearly said Siliqui there, that wasn't it. Percival, that's the one.
Percival, ask for a discount if you're going to
Yes.
get one as well. If he wants that many signed,
I'm assuming he already has my books.
I meant discount is in for you if you want to buy one of his.
No, I've read cover to cover previously. I just can't remember all of it because they're not as exciting. I'm sorry, I'm not going to say that. That's rude. You told me not to be rude and read the room.
Well done. That's very good. Yep.
That kind of seems to just sail over Volo's head.
Well, yes. Well, what books were they, my dear Volo?
Oh, right. So what he was asking there was he doesn't have. So I think I realise where the confusion's come here now. So he doesn't have your books on him. He has his books on him.
No problem.
And he's asked you to sign his book, his guide to
His book.
Yeah. Which you
No
don't
problem.
You don't even need an inside check to know that he's trying to cash in on, here's a rare book that has the Silverlight signature in it as well.
Gotta go on eBay later, or
Well,
Yeah. Like he wants a couple because he wants to keep one to himself and he'll probably sell the others.
Yep. One's a shelf book.
could you
Yep.
just make it out to eBay? Thank you.
Ah, yes, my good friend E. Bar.
Small E, big B. Thank you. Well, my dear Volo, I'm sure that you understand, as a connoisseur of the arts and of adventure and of writing, one only ever signs their own work. To do so with anybody else's books would simply be dishonest.
Oh, it's... I have to say it's something of a shame. As I say, I do apologise. I don't have your works on me.
I'm sure if you've got something like a notebook, he'd happily give you an autograph.
I have some paper just here.
He's in frantically sellotaping it into the book afterwards.
Badly, yeah.
Let's have a roll-off of persuasion. Volo's trying to essentially persuade Percival to sign his book, rather than just a random scrap of paper.
I can even do a little sketch of you two together if you like, so you can keep it.
Smile for the camera.
Yeah. Equivalent of a selfie. Yep.
We're doing a roll-off of persuasion.
Yes, we are doing a roll-off of persuasion. I need to actually find Volo's stat box. Hang on. Okay, right, yep.
Oh, God. 5.
Yeah. I'm really bad at persuasion as well. Whenever someone rolls for it, I always roll something shit.
So Volo rolled a 2. And has a +7 to persuasion. Yes.
For anyone listening, Percival rolled a 3 and had a +2.
Yeah. 5. Yep, 5 versus 9. Volo wins the persuasion.
You do make a good point, Volo.
I am indeed very sorry for not having. It is, of course, a travesty. As you say, I understand that one writer should write on his own work, but as I am bereft of any of your works, would you be so kind, so generous even, as to write upon this page just here?
Very well. And Percival gets out his quill.
Soliloquy sort of like slightly leans over looking at the page.
Undoes the ink that he has, dips it in, and...
Soliloquy's leaning a bit hard and slightly jogs him.
Would you like to make it out to anybody in particular, Volo?
If you could make one out to Volo and another out...
No, I'm only doing one.
Oh. Okay.
Just the one. Volo.
Well, just to Volo. And then after a pause, he's like, the Magnificent.
Very well. And Percival writes, keep on rocking. Keep finding those monsters and breaking those hearts. And he makes it out to Volo the Magnificent, as requested, and signs Percival Silverlight in a kind of ridiculous script.
He's doing all like this fancy, like little swelling. Percival, does it really have to be quite so fancy?
His penmanship is excellent.
Soliloquy's purposely now, she's like bored of waiting, so she's ever slightly nudging him with her elbow, little bit by little bit, to go, just like nudging his arm that he's trying to sign with. Basically, she's being a bit of a dick.
Right, I'm just going to roll performance. That's only a 7 on performance.
Okie dokie. So Volo has a look at the signature, and there's a bit of a pause, an almost slightly awkward pause as he looks at it, just kind of like, is that the right signature? Oh, no, maybe it's just the drink. And he recovers himself and looks back to you and just says, I thank you very much, sir. This is most wonderful. It's just, I can't tell you how much I've hoped that at some point I might bump into you. I have to say, I heard that you might be having another sojourn, another adventure sometime soon, and he glanced a little awkwardly towards the others.
Volo, sorry, I'm interrupting. I do apologise, but I suddenly realised I can't stop interrupting, so I'm going to carry on anyway. Volo, you go on adventures when you see the animals and monsters and things.
Yes.
We're looking for a boat.
A boat?
A boat. Bigger than a canoe. Who's the best people to speak to? Or is there anybody who maybe we could barter with? Or maybe somebody who needs something doing that we might be able to borrow a boat or anything? Do you know anyone?
Well, there are a few trading ships here in this port city of Port Nianzaro. He says, looking a little pointedly each time he says port.
I'm not stupid. I might have an accent, but I'm not stupid. I'm aware that it is an island and there's a lot of water. and boats, I know. But I meant, do you know people? Like people who may offer discounted rental or maybe who own one anyway and need something doing or for an adventure with Percival Silverlight.
Well, if there was anybody in Port Nianzaro that might do, you might want to search out Captain Swift. The good captain is one of the few captains who has a ship, the Brazen Pegasus. So what he says is that there are a majority of merchant ships in and around Port Nianzaro. Most of them probably won't be up for being shanghaied into an adventure. However, the one ship that will be is the Brazen Pegasus, a ship that is captained by one Captain Swift and Dark, which is apparently that's just his surname. It's just Swift and Dark. Very peculiar.
Captain Swift.
Like Swift and
Yeah, it is
Dark.
literally spelled like that
Dark.
with the gaps as well. It is just Swift and Dark, and it's very peculiar. I don't know why it's written like that. I thought it was two different captains.
Perhaps he's a tabaxi.
Okay, so do you know where he tends to frequent?
So the little dock area, and so for this, I will move you back to Port Nianzaro map. Verlo can tell you that this particular captain docks at these docks over here.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
So he says, look for the Brazen Pegasus. It should be a fairly large ship. Not the largest, no man of war, of course, but sturdy enough and swift enough to get people around the bays of Cholt, and mostly works as a ship for hire, as opposed to the other ships that are working for the various merchant princes and other mercantile business that comes in and out of Port Nianzaro.
That's very useful information. Thank you for Volo.
Volo,
Mr.
my
Volo?
dear. Volo.
Volo, can you go?
Volo.
Are you all right, my dear?
I'm fine. And she goes to cross her legs, and then like you suddenly hear a slight clang where you suddenly see a load of a few whiskey glasses fall from where her foot was.
She's actually quite graceful on the battlefield, my dear Volo.
Unless there is anything else I can help you with just now, I shall leave you to get back to your business. I do apologise. I realise I have interrupted your evening meal somewhat, but it was
Not at all, my
it
good
was
Volo.
most fabulous to meet you, Mr. Silverlight, and you all. And he does a bow to the rest of you as well. Not quite as low as the one he gives Silverlight. As he grasps your hand, Percival, he just says, "Good to have you back, sir. Good to have you back."
Thank you. I know it was some dark times back then, but
If it's
we do what we can.
At this point, Soliloquy's looking at Rana and Zibby with that face where, when you're being really quiet but going, this is kind of awkward. Okay.
Zibby turns around and finally puts Volo's book into his book bag and says, "Oh, this is great. I've now got a book by Volo. I've got some books by Percival Silverlight, and I've got the fantastic Tales of a Traveller by Gilliman. I know so much
Right.
about the world.
I'm getting another drink. Percival walks off to the...
Volo, before he heads off, does pat you on the shoulder, Percival, in response to what you said, and
Yes.
informs you guys that if you wish to find him, you might find him either up at Golden Throne, where he is making arrangements to meet with the merchant princes, or you can inquire here at the Painted Rose, where he is staying. Or sometimes he might be out and about and might sometimes come to visit you guys at the Giggling Squid itself.
Just to be a bit of a dick, has he turned his back at this point? Like to walk off?
After having said that, yes, he will walk off and go to...
Soliloquy gets her Amici just to be a dick and elbows Rana to watch, and she just tries to knock the very tip of his hat and the feather, just so it looks like something, not her. Knocked it off his head.
Okay, I want you to roll me an attack. Wait, hang on, what is it you're throwing at him?
I'm not throwing anything. I'm just holding my Amici just so it's a bit longer, like a long finger, and basically I'm just trying to poke the very, very tip of his hat, as in the sticky up bit or the feather.
Okay, because
Just to be a
I
bit
think I've
annoying, knock it off
misunderstood. For some
slightly.
reason, I think I thought you were throwing a shuriken at him. Yeah.
Oh God, no! Nothing dangerous. He's literally just trying to be annoying. So he goes, "Oh, how did my hat fall off? Or, oh, this must be a bruise.
Okay. In which case, let's switch that out for a sleight of hand, but I do want you to make it a disadvantage.
Oh, well.
Yep. Okay.
Right, 6 sleight of hand, 3, 9.
Well, you rolled the 4 and the 9, 18, so that was what I was counting as that, yeah.
The top 2. Okay, so 4, 5, 6, 7.
7, okay, yep. So you go to make this move, and as you're doing that, Percival stands up and goes to get himself another drink, so you actually end up bashing off of Percival's front, rather than catching the hatch you were aiming for.
Oh! Hi. Oh.
I know you've had a drink, Soliloquy, but there's no reason to get a bit leery. And he wanders over to the bar. Anybody else want anything?
I have another whiskey if you're getting one.
No problem.
You also notice, Soliloquy, that you appear to be holding 2 or 3 Amici. You're not entirely sure how many are in your hand right now.
Oh. All right. I'm not sure how that happened. Oh, all right. So, just bring a bottle, Percival.
I might be cutting you off.
She just looks pissed off at the others. Well, finally, I think I let my hair down a little bit. And then she looks at Zibby and...
You tried to stab me and my good friend Volo.
I did not try to stab at the slightest. You interfered and got in the way, and you would have seen something hilarious. But instead, you got in the way. Anyway.
I'm getting a drink. And he wanders over to the bar.
Right, so while he wanders off, she looks at Zibby and Rana and just does...
As you guys have been drinking a bit more than, say, like, the usual amount, I am going to ask you to deduct an extra gold piece on top of your daily spendings to cover this. Just because, yeah, you have been drinking a fair old amount here.
Booze.
Just as well, for those of you that are actually drinking a lot, because I'm kind of judging by, I'm not sure Rana and Zibby aren't especially sound like they're drinking a lot, but certainly Soliloquy and Percival, you two sound like you've drunken a fair amount.
I think Rana's being a little bit more reserved.
Good God. He's being reserved?
It's a first time for everything.
Zibby's been too busy reading.
Is there anything particular you want to do tomorrow, other than obviously with meeting up with Akene and things? Is there anything that you need to do or want to do tomorrow?
Rana just sort of shrugs nonchalantly and says, nothing comes to mind, and he sort of peers out towards the window and sort of shuffles slightly in his seat and says, I look forward to when we go back out of the city. He says, it is too noisy here.
It is very cloudy.
Rana nods and says, yes. He says, it would be good, he says, to get back amongst the trees.
Hopefully she'll leave soon, because time is of the essence with the death curse. Tomorrow you can be yourself, though, with Akene. I think we'll tell her who you are and things, but because Jobo won't be there, hopefully, so you haven't got to change or anything. I really didn't like to ask that of you anyway, because you are you, and I don't think you should have to hide who you are, but at the same time, obviously, it could be dangerous with Jobos who wanted to keep you safe.
Rana nods and says, there will be food tomorrow, yes? We are going for lunch?
There will be food, and apparently I'm on sandwich duty again.
Rana nods like his mind's been made up. He perks up a bit. He thinks perhaps tomorrow will be a better day than he was expecting, because he's discovered that he's going to be eating at some point. Yeah, so Rana's perked up a bit at that. And he's ready to he's ready for the new day when it arrives.
One thing I did want to do, though, is whilst I was getting a drink, I wanted to kind of see if I could hear anybody talking about anything that might be of interest. So, any rumours or anything like that, and see if I pick up any murmurings.
Is Percival trying to be subtle?
Right, roll me.
He's at the bar and he's just wondering if he hears anything.
Just Percival, how he dresses, everything about Percival. There's no subtlety.
Hiding in plain sight.
Roll me a perception.
Oh, well, perception's my best score.
Is it now?
Oh, that was almost a 17, but it's a 3.
Oh, no.
That hasn't even come up on here.
Unfortunately, there's a mirror behind the bar, and Percival's just watching it.
Yep. You spend a little while trying to listen into the conversation the very good-looking and well-groomed man across the bar from you is having, until you realise that, that is yourself in a mirror. Yep.
That man is amazing.
Yeah, you hear nothing of particular note. Like, the majority of the conversations you're hearing are about business deals or much more local gossip, and not exactly gossip about any of the sort of big players of the city. You know, it's more just kind of like, oh, did you hear about Margaret? She left that young boy's house so late at night, and she came back. It's like, oh,
tell me more.
In a different dress. Yeah, tell me more. Tell me more. Did you get very far? No.
We're not turning this into Greece.
Yeah, no, it's not happening. It's nothing that particularly catches your attention, I'm afraid. Just muggle stuff, basically.
Yep, no problem. No issues.
Did you say muggle stuff?
He did.
I did, yes.